Let's go to Dave in Portchester. Dave.
How you doing, Mike?
Good. How are you?
Here's my point. I only call into your show, but when I drove to work one day, I just said, let me give this a shot. Because they were ranting and raving about how iconic Judge is. I'm a big Yankees fan. I root for Judge all the time. I happen to mention one little thing about Jeter and this guy in the morning, starts yelling and screaming at me about, do you think he's better than Mike Trout? Do you think he's better than Aaron Judge? I'm like, I don't care if most of the Yankee fans don't care if he hits 100 home runs a year. Has he done anything in a big spot in his life? Has he made a big play in the field in a playoff game in his life? How is the guy iconic? The guy cuts me off, starts screaming, yelling, and saying, "Oh, this is just."
Well, I won't cut you off, Dave, but I mean,
let me just say one thing before you cut me off.
I'm not going to cut you off.
We live in a society of what have you done for me lately? So everybody forgot about this one particular player that, to me, is definitely iconic. It's not even close. I mean, come on now. I don't understand. I'm asking you, Mike.
Well, who are you talking about? Who did people forget about?
I'm saying, do you really believe that as of today, right now, Aaron Judge or Mike Trout is better than Derek Jeter? He's 9 categories in the postseason.
What do you mean? Are you talking about talent or greatness?
I'm talking about people who come through when it's needed.
Yeah, but Dave, the bar that you're setting, all right? So what you're saying is Ted Williams was not iconic. He was terrible in the postseason. Ernie Banks never played in the postseason. He's not iconic? And you're acting like I don't care if he hits 100 home runs, but Dave, they don't get to the postseason if he doesn't do what he does during the season. Yeah, it's problematic he hasn't hit in the playoffs, but are you burying him for good?
I'm not burying. I like the guy. He's a nice guy. I mean, Jeter had 100% of the votes except for one guy who didn't see his name on the ballot.
Right.
He didn't do that because he handles the media well.
I get it. Dave, you don't have to sell me on Jeter. Jeter's one of the all-time greats. But don't diminish Judge because he hasn't hit in the postseason. What you do in the season counts, too.
No, I understand that. I just didn't like the way that this guy, his name was Dave. You know him very well, obviously.
I've heard of him.
He went crazy and just went crazy before I called up, and then he went crazy after I called up. I mean, he made it like Judge was better than Willie Mays and this guy now. I was like,
well,
wow,
I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you one thing, Dave. I'll tell you one thing. Judge is having a season right now, and we thank you for the call. And I'm not going to sit here and rip you as we hang up. Judge is having a season right now, Peter, that it's been done maybe 2 or 3 times in the history of baseball. And what I think amplifies what he's done, it's hard to hit. You can't hit in baseball anymore. Everything is against you. So today is the anniversary in 1963, Peter.
All right.
Juan Marichal and Warren Spahn started for the Giants against the Braves. And they both pitched 15 shutout innings. Marichal pitched a scoreless inning in the 16th. Then Spahn gave up a home run to Willie Mays to lose 1-0. So today's hitters, like Aaron Judge, they're not going to face Warren Spahn and Juan Marichal 9 times in one game. They're not going to face any starter that much. The guy they're going to face is a guy throwing 98 to 101 miles an hour out of the bullpen, and that's in the 5th or the 6th inning. So here's what Judge has done in June. 409, 514 on base percentage, 864 slugging percentage, 1.378 OPS, 37 runs batted in the month of June, 11 home runs. He's doing things that have really never been done before. It's amazing what he's done. To sit back and try to nitpick on what the guy's about, it's just, you're not enjoying the moment. He's playing better than really anybody has ever played before. All right, so he has 31 home runs through June. Babe Ruth had 30 home runs in 28 through June. Now, in fairness, this is a skewed stat because Judge has played 84 games, Babe Ruth 66, and then Babe Ruth had 30 in 1930, 67 games, because they started the season in the middle of April. but nobody else. So let's take out those guys. Nobody else has done 30 home runs through June. Oh, the Yankees. No Yankee. And the Yankees are the Mount Rushmore of baseball. Major league players with 30 or more home runs and 80 or more RBIs through June. Major league players. Mark McGwire did it in 1998. Chris Davis did it in 2013 for the Orioles. He has 12 first-inning home runs. That leads the major leagues. The most first-inning home runs ever in a season. Babe Ruth with 16 in 1927. I mean, I could go on and on.
Well, can I throw something at you?
Sure.
So we had this conversation come up last week, and I think it's important. Words are important, Michael.
Oh,
they're tools.
They're tools, weapons.
And I think when you talk about all-time greatness, Yankee fans have every right to be very protective of Derek Jeter. Because what Derek Jeter did over a long period of time and in many, many clutch situations put him in the rarest of airs, Michael. I mean, they put him, in my opinion, at potentially table one of all Yankees ever, right? For the amount that he did and how well he did it in the biggest of spots. Judge has not done that yet. He has not had the big spot moments yet, or at least he hasn't delivered in huge spots yet. But I think people then confuse that, Michael, with the level of talent and what he's done in the regular season. Like, there is just no denying that Aaron Judge is on his way to being an all-time ball player and Yankee. And that doesn't mean yet that you have to have the same affection for him already in 2024 that you have for Derek Jeter after his incredible, illustrious career. Those are two, we have to be able to have room for two separate thoughts. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I think just because you think somebody's great doesn't mean the other guy's not great. You know what Derek Jeter's postseason stats are? His postseason stats, now you're playing against the best of the best in the postseason. There weren't 3 wild cards then. He's playing against the best pitchers and the best teams. So he played 158 games in the postseason. So let's say he played a full season of postseason baseball. He had 308. He had 200 hits. He had 20 home runs, 111 runs scored, and 61 ribbies, leading off. He's one of the greatest players who ever lived. But don't diminish Aaron Judge because Aaron Judge hasn't hit in the playoffs yet. Everybody wants to make a definitive, declarative statement right away. Aaron Judge is 32 years old. He might be in the playoffs another 7 years. Let's see what he does. Let's see what he does.